Jen, we're live, right? Okay. All right, you guys are live. Judy, you have the wrong microphone.
Judy. Judy here.
There you go.
Too many microphones and not enough people. Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, and welcome to everyone online. So glad to have you here today. My name is Judy. I'm your host, and Devanni's my co-host. Girl power today.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. Good to be here with you, Judy. And the Unity Movement embraces the inherent worth and diversity of every individual, fostering an environment of acceptance and respect for all people. Without distinction of any kind, we come together to encourage and to support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. Wherever you are in that process, we're glad you've joined us today.
And while it is a well-traveled land, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, comprising the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. We are grateful to work, learn, and live in this area.
And now we'd like to introduce the musician, the head of our musical team, Angelica, and we're so happy that you're here. Your music is always so inspiring. It jingles in my head all week, so I'm so happy that you're here, Angelica.
Thank you so much.
And also Judy, I'm glad that you're here too.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
happy to
very
be hosting
much.
with you. And so if you wouldn't mind opening us up in a prayer.
So this prayer came to my email today, and I thought it was perfect for today's theme. And it was provided by Reverend Sherry Taylor Jones, Celebration of Spirit in Austin, Texas. So even though David's not here today, we've got something from Texas. It's a prayer on loving kindness. As I awake this day, I turn within and remember that divinity is within me and within every person I encounter in life. I allow my heart to remember that my purpose is to be the Christ. Throughout the day, each breath I take is in sync with my soul's knowing. I am reminded that loving kindness is the action of God in the world. Today, I open my eyes to see how I can serve another. I open my mind to hear divine wisdom to inspire others. I open my mouth to speak words of truth and love. I open my hands to lift the burden in another's life. I affirm in this moment that I am a tool of light that dispels darkness and hatred. I am blessed with overflowing abundance and joy, which I share easily with others. Thank you, Spirit, for my capacity to love. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Judy. So I just remind people that we have an online 24-hour support, prayer support through Silent Unity. And this is a support that you can call for an affirmative prayer at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can also have somebody pray with you. And so I have used this service many times, and it's available. So just to let you know that, let's see, it's 1-800-NOW-PRAY.
And our prayer chaplain today is Susan Fabro. Hi, Susan. It's always a joy to sit with Susan and receive personal prayer. And as well, we have the prayer request box, which is right over there with the slips and pens, and just fill in a name of someone who you wish prayer for. And the prayer team finds it a joy and a delight to pray for the next 30 days. And then I send the prayer request on to Silent Unity, as you mentioned, where there's 24/7 prayer support. So we're all about prayer here at Unity. And now it's time for some music, Angelica. What have you got for us?
All right, good morning, everyone. Our first song, We Shine Your Light. So if you're willing and able to stand and join us, we will start it off. Everyone. All right, next up, Power of Now. Power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily.
let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. Thank you all so much. You may be seated.
Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor is a progressive spiritual community that emphasizes personal growth, living consciously, and making a positive difference in the world. As a part of the New Thought in the worldwide unity movement, we strive to be compassionate, inclusive, open-minded, service-oriented, abundant, and spirit-filled.
And unity teaches that each person is a unique individual expression of God. Our realization of that truth evolves as we expand our consciousness through prayer and meditation. Unity emphasizes that we create our experience of life according to the thoughts and feelings we hold in mind. Affirmative prayer is the highest form of creative thought, while meditation stills the mind and heightens our awareness of our oneness with spirit, each other, and all of life. Living from that awareness transforms our lives and the world.
And our new affirmation for October is, every day I find new reasons to be thankful. So if you can please repeat this with me. Every day I find new reasons to be thankful.
Okay, now it's time for our special music. What have you got?
One of my favorites.
When you're down and troubled and you need some loving care, winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name aloud. Soon you'll hear me knocking at your door, and you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Well, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you, and take your soul if you let them. Don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend? Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know? You've got a Thank you all so much. Thank you for singing along with me. That makes it for me, so I appreciate that. Give me a wiggle on the box. Oh, thanks, Poppy Joe. No, you'll have to use the handheld. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, it's on.
Are we on?
Yeah!
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're delighted to welcome Lisa Gottlieb to Unity Windsor today. Lisa is a therapist, a coach from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so she was caught up in the border, so we're glad she made it here today. And she helps people build stronger relationships, more compassionate relationships. She's a certified with the nonviolent communication, compassionate communication, and you will immediately feel her warmth and kindness. I know with just watching her videos online, you could already sense that. Lisa will be leading a workshop after the service today at from 12:30 to 2:30, and it's called Growing Peace, Listening and Speaking with Compassionate Communication. And this is going to be a perfect opportunity to you be able to share your tools with us. So, Let's welcome Lisa to the platform.
Thank you. Am I mic'd? How's the sound?
Sounds good.
Everybody
yeah.
can hear me? Okay. Oh, what a lovely group and beautiful start and singing. Very enlivening.
Yes,
Thank you
yes, yeah,
for-
really welcome here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, how did you first get introduced to, well, we're calling it nonviolent communication, but is it more compassionate communication? Are we changing that word?
You know, people can call it whatever opens their heart the most. It's technically nonviolent communication through the lens of Marshall Rosenberg, who created the protocol in which I was trained. And he was a psychologist, a behavioralist, and he also studied Buddhism. And sometimes people are a little put off by the name nonviolent communication because their immediate response is, but I'm not violent. And in Buddhism, I'll share very briefly
Yes,
about the
absolutely.
name for a little clarity. In Buddhism, well, you know, as a social worker, I was trained to give suggestions, instructions, encouragement through positive words. So if you see a child running around on some playground equipment, we learn not to say, don't fall. We would say, use good balance, watch your feet, to encourage the positive, because generally the brain can't really do that negative. If I say to you, don't think about a big gray elephant, you're going to think of a big gray elephant. But in Buddhism, the idea is there are certain tenets. Don't lie, don't indulge, don't be violent. And what I learned to understand about this is you may not be ready to be truthful all the time, but just stop lying. It's a similar thing. You may not be ready to be compassionate every minute, but just stop being violent, which is why we frame it that way. I'm certified with the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and so that's how I call it. However, I often will talk about it as compassionate communication, and you are welcome to name it however best serves you. So, depending
Yeah.
on who I'm working with and what the situation is, I may change up the language.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
kind of a long
yeah,
answer,
no, thank you for
too.
that explanation. That's really,
Yeah.
that's really great.
Good.
So what inspired you to become a certified trainer?
You know, to me, it's interesting. I got my master's in social work. My whole 2-year program, I never heard of Marshall Rosenberg, and I never heard of nonviolent communication. It was not part of anything that we explored or talked about, and we talked about many, many interventions to support people, communities, and globally. And ironically, I was going through a very, very difficult divorce, and the man with whom I had been married was quite difficult for many people to deal with, and a number of people had suggested he try nonviolent communication. And we were in the midst of this divorce and trying to manage some difficult decisions, as anyone who knows anything about divorce may understand. And he started to talk to me in a different way. And I was stunned. And I really just, it was such a surprise to me. And I asked him, I said, what's going on? And he said, well, you know, people think I'm a difficult person. Several people recommended nonviolent communication to me, and I'm trying to utilize it more. And I thought, well, this is kind of remarkable. And it really met a lot of my own values and how I like to be in the world. And I started looking into it and went down to Columbus, Ohio, actually, where Columbus had a beautiful NVC community. And I started doing workshops there and just thought, this is the work I want to do. I'd been a social worker, school social worker at that time for about 15 or 16 years. And I was thinking about, well, what do I want to do post-retirement from that job as a school social worker? And it just landed with me, and I felt like I had met my next path. And so I started to go to Columbus, and then I brought some trainers up to Ann Arbor, which was more convenient for me, and started our own Ann Arbor nonviolent communication community, and then formed Great Lakes NVC with some other colleagues, and have got certified a few years after I started that program, and now that's where we are. So
Yes.
it's amazing how grace can come in many different forms. And in this case, it was with a man with whom I had a very difficult relationship, yet I was given this gift through
Yes, there's a gift in all of it, eh? Yeah.
this. And I don't want to have what I might call toxic positivity, which is the drive to take anything terrible that happens and try and make it okay. I also feel that a strong gratitude practice is imperative. So again, it's a balance between something bad happened. I don't have to make it all okay. I can find the gift in it.
Yes.
Something about some balance there.
Yeah. Yeah, balance, that's what, definitely. Could you share a moment or a story you experienced that showcases the power of compassionate communication?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and there are so many, and I was trying to think if there was one really big one that just shocked me. And I remember I was with my siblings out in California. We had been emptying out a storage container that had belonged to my parents, who had both passed away. So it was very trying work, and we were exhausted, my brother and my sister and I. And it was a lot of physical work, trying to divide things up and send them out, but it was also emotionally quite impactful, beautiful things I hadn't seen in many years and that sort of thing. And we were going back and forth to the FedEx shop to mail things out, and my sister was driving my brother's car and was not very comfortable with it and backed into a car in the parking lot. And apparently this car belonged to one of the women in a building next to the FedEx who had just gotten her car back after it had been in an accident. Like literally, she'd not had her car for 6 weeks, and she'd gotten it back the day before. And my sister backed into the bumper and did some damage on it. And as you can imagine, the woman was quite upset, and her boss was really upset. Her boss came out and started to yell at us. I mean, he was being really aggressive and hostile, and it was very intense. And my brother, who is doesn't like that very much, started to be aggressive back, because that's typically what we do when someone comes at us. We tend to get defensive or argumentative, depending on, when adrenaline hits, you are likely aware of what your own response is. Maybe you get angry, maybe you freeze, maybe you withdraw, maybe you fawn and become extra obsequious and small. And so I stepped in and began to try and connect with this man through empathic reflection and connection. I didn't argue with him. I didn't defend myself. I didn't try and convince him of anything. I simply listened for the pain talk underneath his anger.
I noticed that in your ebook you talked about people who are coming across aggressive or over perfectionism, all of that, overindulging. There's underlying issues. Yes, there's a need that's not being met. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the basis of nonviolent communication, a few of the foundational tenets are that as humans, no matter who we are or how different we are or where we live or our politics, our socioeconomic status, our religion, who we are, what we have available and what we don't, we all share the same universal human needs. Now, some of these are really obvious. We know them from our education: food, water, shelter. These are basics. But we also need, universal human needs include acceptance and belonging, love and care, protection, safety. And when we look at each other through the lens of our shared needs, then we can see the humanity in each other. And we all know what happens when we dehumanize people. Horrific things happen. So paying attention to our shared needs is a way to connect. This doesn't mean that the way we go about meeting those needs is going to work for everybody. That's what we call strategies in nonviolent communication. So knowing the difference between what's a need, which is something we all share, and a preference or a want or something like that, will help us connect with other people more fully. Does that make
Yeah.
sense for around needs? And then, of course, the way we get to those needs is through empathic understanding. And in my workshop, I'll talk about how we actually offer empathy without losing ourselves, without putting ourselves in a position of danger or a lack of safety or being a doormat, how we actually can live our values and imagine what it's like to be someone else.
Yeah, and these can go, this is really, those needs come really deep. I also read in your ebook that it comes from the childhood, from your childhood. So some of these.
I was trained as a social worker with a psychological background. So I learned to think about things in terms of pathology, think about things in family of origin, family history, diagnosing, and NVC, nonviolent communication, doesn't really look at things through that lens. Marshall Rosenberg said, every act of violence, and by violence he meant hostility, anger, aggravation towards someone else or towards oneself.
Yeah, just being defensive, right?
Yeah, that all of that is hostility. And he would say, every act of violence is a tragic attempt to meet a need. That when people are violent and aggressive and defensive, it's because they have a need, bless you, underneath that needs some attention. And of course, when we look at the world, we can see that it's very, very difficult to look at some people, some groups of people, some communities, through that lens. Because there are people in history and even today who are doing horrific, violent, terrible things. And it's an awful big stretch for most people to try and imagine what it's like to be them. And that's not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about today is, how do you deal with your child when they're annoying you? How do you deal with a family member, a spouse, a sweetie pie, your neighbor, the person who cuts you off in traffic? The daily aggravations that are so easy to throw us off, knock us off our stance and our values. And I have found that the practical tools of NVC, which I will share in my workshop, are immediately available to you. And they're very simple. They may not be easy to put into practice, but they're very simple. And it is a practice because, of course, there's no such thing as perfection. We just work at living our values and in being integrity, whatever that means for us.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's not hard either. It's just a little effort, eh? Yeah.
It's efforting, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do we set boundaries? Is there a healthy way to create boundaries and not falling into ultimatums or where one person wins and the other loses? My husband and I always have this thing, if it's from God, it's win-win. Everybody wins.
But it's often hard to get there when we have an idea about something.
Yes.
Marshall used to say, this is not about compromise. This is about shifting our perspective to imagine what it's like to be the other person. He used to say something like, compromise. Oh yeah, compromise. The solution where everyone is equally miserable. Right? We don't want misery. We want to understand and have enough empathy to have a shift. Now, coming back to boundaries, many people see boundaries as coming from a place of anger and defensiveness. I am here and you are there, and you better not do this and you better not do that, or you better do this and you better do that. That is not boundaries. That's ultimatums.
Yeah.
A boundary actually can come from a place of love and care, and it's really a matter of saying, hey, would you like to get to know me more? Because here's where I start and stop, and I'd like to know where you start and stop. And to be in relationship with me means that I am clear about what my values are, where I can stretch, where I won't stretch. So it's not about what you're doing or not doing. It's about, here's what I'm noticing is happening. Here's my feeling about it. And here's the need that's calling for attention. That's a very different thing. Instead of pointing the finger at someone else, it's coming back to self. So instead of saying to someone, you better not talk to me that way, which is basically an ultimatum and has a threat energy to it, instead I might say, when I hear you talking louder than what I can tolerate, I find it really upsetting and distressing to me. And then I'm not able to really engage in a way that will work for me and likely work for you. So it's hard for someone else to tell me what I'm feeling or not feeling. I'm simply naming how it is for me. Then, and this is imperative in NVC, in nonviolent communication, when I'm in any kind of conversation with someone that might be a little bit edgy or a little bit difficult, I'm going to make sure I have a clear, doable request at the end of our conversation so that the person is clear what it is I'm asking for. And I will almost guarantee you that if you're in conversation with someone and it's fussy or it's difficult, if before you get much farther, you stop and think, what is it that I want to have happen? What is the outcome of this? Do I want the person to do something for me? Do I want the person to reflect back what I'm saying? Do I want the person to tell me what it's like to hear what I'm saying? In nonviolent communication, there are connecting requests, which are, hey, how is it for you to hear? What are you hearing me say? And action requests, which are very much specific, oriented around tasks. And in the workshop, I'll get much more into detail about how to make effective requests. So boundaries are a way to give someone very helpful information if I can do it with some sense of equanimity and sense of self, and at the same time a bit of warm curiosity about what it's like to be them. And
putting yourself in the other person's shoes, that's very helpful.
Yeah, and if you're not ready to do that, if you're really not ready, that's my barometer. Do I have warm curiosity about what it's like to be someone else? If I don't, I am not ready to engage with them because my words of NVC will not match what's happening inside of me.
Wow, I like that.
And we all know when someone's being fake nice or fake connecting, it doesn't, we don't enjoy that typically as people. You know, nonverbal communication, like how we sit, how we express ourselves nonverbally, is 75% of what people receive. So I can imagine all of you might be able to think of a situation where you were in conversation with someone and their words didn't match what you were picking up from them. It's very disconcerting. And sometimes it's scary. And it can often be really confusing.
Thank you so far. This is really great. So we're really getting to know Lisa, and just remembering that her workshop is today at 12:30.
Yep.
We're kind of out of here by 11:30, so we get that hour break for a little fellowship, and then the workshop is in the community room from 12:30 to 2:30. And just wondering, we only have another 5 minutes, if there's any questions at all from the audience.
Yeah.
And we do have one question, Judy, with Mariette, please.
I was wondering what happened with the outcome of the accident, and you started listening for the pain underneath the angry words. How did that turn out for you?
Oh, do you mean with the car accident? Well, I think what was so remarkable is that when my brother stepped back and I could just be in conversation with the man, the temperature went way down. And we were able to actually make a plan. And It turned, I mean, it was a real hassle. It was a hassle for this woman, and I shared my regret with her. And, you know, one of the things, apologies are a little different in NVC than how we might typically apologize. Often people say, I'm really sorry that happened. Or they'll go into, oh, I didn't mean to, it was an accident. In the workshop, I'm going to talk about how important it is to address impact before intention. And in this case, the impact was actually physical. So it wasn't perfect, certainly, but the temperature lowered, and we ended up being able to have this shift in his energy and his aggressiveness. And eventually, the temperature lowered, and we were able to make a plan. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
I have one more question about that conversation you had with him. Can you give us an example of when he was like yelling? Like, can you give me give us an example of something you said?
Yes. Yeah. I'll say this very briefly, and I'm going to go into this more in the workshop. Through the lens of NVC, at any given time, I can be in one of three places. I can be in self-empathy, which is, oh my gosh, this is really intense and difficult, and my blood pressure's rising. And let me take a few deep breaths and have a strategy for calm. The second place is empathic listening. Oh, it sounds like you are. The other is honest self-expression, which is, I'm hearing you say, or this is how it is for me. So the first thing I did was I went into self-empathy so I could come from a calm place. Then I went to empathic response, which sounded like this. I'm hearing how angry and distressed you are. She just got her car back. We hit it. It's terrible. I understand how angry and distressed you are about this. It makes sense. Of course you would feel this way.
I love that empathy.
So it's reflection, and then it's some empathic acknowledgement. Of course you would be feeling upset. I would be feeling upset too. And I just kept you know, at first it escalated. You're darn right it was. Not only that. And then I would just reflect back, yes, in addition to this, it's also this, which is really, really also terrible. No wonder it's so upsetting for everyone. Yeah, and then sometimes it goes on for a while. And I kept checking in, and I had the availability. You know, I was able to do it. And then he started to soften. I could see him sort of, the temperature went down. And that's when we could start to make a plan.
Exactly.
And he could receive an authentic regret about it. Yeah. So look, if you're interested in coming to the workshop, it's 2 hours. And it's for people who have some experience in nonviolent communication. And if you're brand new to it, that's okay. That's okay. You can come in and you'll learn things right away that you can start to use. Any other questions? Did you have a question?
We only have time for one more
Okay,
question.
thank you for tracking
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to keep it in the time frame.
Hi. I had an unusual experience. Most of my neighbors, I can go knock at the door or walk into their yard, no problem, where I lived here. And I had this fellow, I went and knocked at their front door. Nobody's home. The gate was open. So I went in their yard, and he was fierce. You don't trespass in my yard, this attitude. So anyhow, after that, I said, okay, that's fine. And I walked away, and I felt so hurt, so much pain that I've been so nice to all my neighbors, and a lot of them have been so nice to me. And then this one unusual man, he just moved in. They just cut down his tree, and his tree is, oh my gosh. So anyhow, I was going around with garbage pails to people's homes in the front. And no problem with anybody, not at the whole street, just a few near me. And then so I'll recycle. And he just pulled up his truck, he was coming, and he started lecturing me like I don't know what. Next time you do anything that he had certain things he didn't want me to do, I will call the police. Oh. And I didn't say anything. He said, okay. Did you hear what I said? I said, okay. And that was it.
Yeah.
So that's my form of nonviolent communication.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it sounds like it would really hurt your feelings. You know, you wanted to be seen for your intention to be helpful. You were coming from a place of wanting to be helpful. Not only did he not receive that, but he was, something frightened him or upset him about it. And of course, one strategy is to simply lower the temperature by not responding. Sometimes that can aggravate people more. In this case, it was a good option for you. It sounds like it was a strategy you chose. And at the same time, I could imagine just the pain of that you're not seen for your care and you're wanting to be helpful. Some people, their orientation of life creates a lot of closed, restrictive threat. And it's sad. You know, I would, from a nonviolent communication place, I might say that would be worth mourning. There might be some grief around that missed opportunity. And there are many strategies. That's the thing. When you figure out the shared need, strategies are endless. So thank you for sharing your own approach to dealing with someone who is really hostile. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bobby, Joe, and Mariette, for your questions.
Yeah.
And thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
We're getting a good dose of what Lisa's like to work with. And you can feel her energy. Can you not feel her energy? When you're doing this work, we can really feel the energy, and really just want to encourage everyone, 12:30 to 2:30 today, the workshop, and I look forward to it. So if we can just kind of give Lisa a round of applause.
Thanks so much. Thanks so
And
much.
we'll just kind of guide you off the stage before we start our meditations. So if
Okay.
you-
Do you want to turn this off? For now? Oh, great. Thank you.
Yep, you can just take that with you and take it off. Yep, thank you. Yes, absolutely, thank you. Thank you, Lisa, again. Okay, I believe we are going to go into our meditation now. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. I have a little meditation that I created that I'd like to share. So if we can now just all get into our seats. For me, because I am a yoga teacher, just lift up in your spine. We're taught that the energy runs up and down our spine. So to keep the spine lengthened, let's really first exaggerate the lengthening of our spine as we reach the top of the head towards the ceiling. At this point, you can take deep inhales and exhales. First exaggerate that lengthening, and then soften. Soften the shoulders and have the chest gently open. Soften the face. Just feel yourself comfortable in your seat. Allow your body to settle into the space and feel grounded, your feet flat on the floor, shoulders relaxed. And now you can close your eyes or soften your eyes if you don't feel comfortable closing them. And just bring awareness to your breath. Without changing anything, simply observe the natural rhythm of your breathing. Just notice the gentle expansion of your lungs, coolness of the air as it enters, and the warmth of the air as it leaves. Now take a deep breath in, a slow, steady breath, and inhale peace, and exhale let go. Allow your breath to become a soft anchor, bringing you fully into the present moment. And as we reflect on the compassionate communication today, imagine that with each breath you are inhaling compassion, and with each exhale you are releasing judgments, barriers that may arise with your interactions with others. And on your next breath in, silently say to yourself, I am open to listening deeply. Inhale, I am open to listening deeply. And as you breathe out, think, I am open to speaking with kindness. Inhale, I am open to listening deeply. Exhale, I am open to speaking with kindness. Continue with this rhythm for just a few moments. Inhaling openness, exhaling kindness. Feel your heart soften with each breath. And imagine that the space in your chest is expanding with warmth and knowing, allowing you to be fully present with yourself and others. Now bring your awareness to someone in your life with whom you want to improve communication. Just visualize that person in front of you. As you breathe, send them compassion and imagine a peaceful connection between you being formed with your heart and theirs. Just take that final breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any resistance. Allow yourself to simply rest in this space of openness, connection, and peace. And now we are going to take that minute of being in the silence. As we rest in the stillness, allowing the peace and the calm that we've cultivated to deepen as we listen to the quiet wisdom within, that still small voice that speaks to us when we pause in silence. So for the next minute, simply be present with yourself and let the silence fill in. Divine Spirit, we thank you for this moment of stillness and for the opportunity to connect more deeply with ourselves and others. As we move forward, may we carry this sense of peace and compassion in all our words and actions. Guide us to listen with our hearts, speak with kindness, and create harmony in every interaction. We trust in the inner wisdom, and we know that with love, all things are possible. And so it is. Now you can gently just bring yourself back into this now present moment, this space, your seat that you're sitting in, the room that we're in. Whenever you feel ready, we can just gently open the eyes and bring ourselves back to now.
Well, thank you, Devanni and Lisa, for taking part today in Divine Conversations. I'm really looking forward to the workshop. Most of us have not learned to communicate this way, so I'm looking forward to hearing the approach to doing so. And thank you, Angelica. Beautiful as always.
Yeah, and Lisa, I too am looking forward to the workshop, and I could definitely improve on my communication skills. I think that's a lifetime work for me. And Angelica, thank you. I love your music. It chimes through me all week. I got to always tell you that because I just love it. And we also want to thank Jennifer, who is our tech support. Like, without her, I'm telling you, none of this would be televised, or I shouldn't say televised, but YouTube and Facebook Live. And so there is people watching online, and so we're really grateful. And at this time, let us take our vision, our mission statement of being, which is shown on the screen.
We have a global vision. Will you please speak it with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Okay, we have a sacred mission. Will you say it with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And we have a personal statement of being, so let's say this together. I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all.
Okay, so we have a lot of announcements for you today, so please remember that additional information about these and the other events can be found on our weekly newsletter and also on our website.
So as we mentioned, we've got the workshop today with Lisa, and looking forward to that right after hospitality at 12:30 to 2:30, and there's a suggested love offering of $20 for that. Okay, Wednesday, Wisdom and Transformation. What is enlightenment and waking up all about? Find out by joining us for Wednesday, Wisdom and Transformation. Every Wednesday, I can't turn my page, here we go, at 6:30 to 8 in our classroom. For more information, if you need it, please see Reverend David or simply come out and find out what it's all about.
There's a little bit more information on our website as well on that.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting ready for our second annual Fall Wellness Fair, which will take place here at this facility on Sunday, September the 10th. And it's from 10 o'clock in the morning. It's an all-day event, 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the evening. We've already got our speakers. We still need some volunteers, and also we have a few more spots for exhibitors. So just to let you know, if you're out there and you have this product that you would like, and also, please let us know if you can volunteer. The sign-up sheet is upstairs. Is this the one that we're, no? I don't know if we have the right slide up for this one, but please let us know if you can volunteer. There's a sign-up sheet upstairs, and let your friends know, and also let Annette Demers and Claudio Savaggi. Did I say your name right? Yes. Those are the two contacts. November the 10th, is Sunday, November the 10th, and it's from 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the evening. There's so much going on. So we do need volunteers for this, so we thank you ahead
No
of time.
church that day, the wellness fair. Okay, volunteers are also needed for hospitality. Please see Maria or Claudio.
Okay, and also just to let you know, today is the day we're going to celebrate October birthdays. So whoever has an October birthday, we're celebrating you today.
And next Sunday, join us. Reverend David will be speaking, Wake Up Little Susie. I've heard that song before. That's how old I am. And following a workshop by the same name by Jerry Godzilla. And join us for a powerful new offering at Unity Spiritual Center, a Synergy 12 meditation facilitated by Michael Masco this coming Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30 upstairs in the fellowship hall.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got this new meditation.
Yeah.
I'm hearing great things about it. Okay, and as a reminder, our prayer chaplain, it's Susan Fabro, right over there, and she's available for prayer right directly after this service upstairs in the prayer room.
All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your continuous support. We've created many easy ways to donate, which you can find on our website.
Yes, and just a reminder that we have a love offering box near the foyer, and we're with offering envelopes and pens where you can drop your tithe and love offering before you leave the chapel. And again, thank you and bless you for your loving and generous support. And we also want to remind you, I do the counting on occasion, and we're having a hard time reading the names. So please print clearly. If you want a receipt for your tax purposes, please put your address in there because we need all the information. It makes it harder for us counting if it's not legible. So just heads up on that one. Thanks.
Okay, so it's time for our love offering blessing. Let's all stand and we repeat this together. Divine love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of love surrounds us.
We are light.
The love of the divine unfolds us.
We are love.
The peace of love fills us.
We are peace.
The power of love protects us.
We are power.
The presence of love watches over us.
We are presence.
Wherever we are, love is.
All is divine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.